You're listening to Were You Still Talking? Hey, welcome back. This is Were You Still Talking? Oh, which you just heard on the intro thing. This is Joel Albrecht once again in the studio today. We have Melinda Lee. She is an adventurous soul who believes in the power of hugs. She's been on a very interesting journey. Her life mission is to create a world where everyone feels a sense of worthiness and belonging. She's a certified practitioner of healing touch for animals and bear coach certified. She wrote her debut memoir, Rebel Hugger, as a love letter to herself and to all of humanity. And she also spent a year, was it a year, hugging everyone she knows?
Yes, it was a year.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Not everyone you know, but even just everyone.
Everyone, anybody I encountered, yeah.
How'd that work?
It was interesting. It was in 2011, 2012, and I had moved to a new state, and I'd been living there for a year or so, and I was away from all of my family and friends that I'd grown up with. I was in my 20s or early 30s, and I really missed hugs because I grew up around a big family of huggers. And I figured that if I was missing hugs, that maybe other people were too. And I thought it might be a really nice thing to offer it to anybody that I encountered. And at the same time, I was looking for something to write about, like for a blog that I wanted to start. And so I was like, this is something great because I can go out there, hug, and then I can just kind of blog about it at night. So it was really interesting because from the beginning, I just had this innate sense of knowing that I had to ask permission because it's kind of weird, right? Like I'm behind somebody in the grocery store line and it would be kind of weird to just like hug them. Like that's violating boundaries right there.
Okay, that was one of my big questions. Like, really?
Yeah.
You just started hugging people?
No. No, it wasn't like that. I would strike up a conversation with people. And at the end of the conversation, I would be like, can I give you a hug? And that hug was intended to be gratitude that they were in my life, even if it was for just that brief moment in time.
That's
So, yeah.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
It was fun.
Yeah, that's great. So really, it's all about gratitude. That was the main thing.
It was about gratitude and acceptance because one of the intentions that I had was to make sure that I was letting people know that they belonged as a part of the human race. Because I kind of felt myself a little bit on the edges of the human race. I didn't always feel like I fit in. So I wanted to offer that to people as well in this form of this gratitude hug. And in the first couple of weeks, I was really challenged because I went to a waste disposal site to drop off my trash. And there was this employee that was sitting there on a picnic chair, the foldable chairs. And I just thought to myself, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. Because he was big and burly and he had this huge beard. He had a cigar sticking out of his mouth. I was like, I can't do this. and I thought to myself, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm out here doing. Like, I can't pick and choose who I'm going to hug. Like, I'm out here to just hug everybody and express that gratitude, and everybody's worthy of it. Everybody's worthy of love and belonging. And so I got up the courage to walk up to this man and I said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for, helping at this site, helping us with our garbage. Can I give you a hug? This man stood up, was towering over me, so tall. And he grabs me around the waist as he's chuckling, the big belly chuckles, and lifts me off the ground in this huge bear hug. And when he puts me back down, I just started hugging. I started laughing too. And I walked away like, oh my God, I almost didn't ask him. Like,
No,
what
that's
a
great.
great experience. And I almost didn't ask him.
I wonder if he plays Santa Claus during Christmas.
Probably.
That's great. That's awesome. I thought maybe
Probably.
you were going to end the story with, and then we got married.
No, that
No,
didn't
not quite.
happen. I was already married at the time.
I love that we call them waste disposal sites now instead of dumps. It's just dump.
It,
I
you
mean,
know,
I actually love going to the place.
right. Right. So that you can like pick through the stuff and be like, ooh, that's a treasure that my dad used to do that.
Oh, well, I did that professionally at one time.
Really?
I
That's
was
amazing.
I did a recycling job that I've never even heard of anywhere else, where we would go to dumpsters and dig out the recycling in order to save the people money who own the dumpsters. So it was apartments mostly, some
Wow.
businesses. Yeah. So we would go in and we would suit up, of course. We weren't
Sure.
just jumping in there, but it was really physical because getting in a dumpster is not easy in the first place. You have no idea what's in there. You're
Right.
wearing boots and gloves, and it's not as bad as people imagine, really. Sometimes they're really clean. If it's a nicer apartment, it's surprising. But
Right.
anyway, we would dig everything out that was recyclable and throw it in the recycling bins right next to the dumpster.
Interesting.
so
That's
so
amazing.
it really gave me a different perspective on things.
Hmm.
But when our dump, I like going to it because it's a pit. There's recycling as you drive in. And
Yeah.
then if you have garbage, you go over to the pit and you
Yeah.
toss it over the edge. So that's fun. And then there's the big D8 caterpillar pushing the garbage around.
Right.
It's just kind of fun. I don't know. I've taken a
With
few
you.
videos. Yeah.
I personally love separating all my glass and then
Mhm.
bringing that to the glass recycling places because I can get out a lot of aggression and that's super satisfying.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Ours is picked up at the curb, so
Mm,
it's it's not it's anticlimactic unless I go out
right.
there and watch them throw it in the bin, which they seem to like to make the most noise possible.
At like 6 o'clock in the
Which
morning, right?
exactly. Slam this thing. That's funny. That's a job though. That is a very hard job.
Hmm.
So when did you go on the year of hugging? Like
So
when was this?
that was in 2011, 2012. I was living in Raleigh at the time. And the really interesting thing was that, first of all, it never got easier. I thought that as the
Interesting.
year went by, it would get easier and easier. But every morning I would wake up and I would go, I got to find the courage to do it again.
Oh, because it does take, for most of us, some of us are just extroverts, but yeah, for
Right. I'm
most
not
of
one of
us,
those.
right. I'm really not either, even though I pretend to be. Uh,
Hmm. Same.
yeah, because I do acting and I do podcasting and stuff, but no,
Hmm.
I found out actually when was it? It was around 2020. I found out how introverted I was,
Yeah.
where I wasn't disappointed with this. I walked in my house
Hmm.
like, I don't
Hmm.
know about this. I'm not supposed to like this, but
Totally.
kind of
I
like
was
it.
like, this is kind of amazing.
It's kind of incredible. And we would go for walks in our neighborhood. I live in a town. It's only like, it's less than 200,000 people. And so
Amazing.
it was shut down. So when
Yeah.
we'd go for walks, it was like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, after a few months, more birds,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
cats and dogs out, and just you could definitely tell how quiet it was. Really wild. It was
Yeah.
really wild, but we don't want it to happen again. But it was really fun.
No, don't want to
It
happen
was something.
again. It was so good. I
It
really
was
enjoyed it.
there's a lot of us, I think, that did. And that was my wife was wondering, well, did she do that in 2020? It's like,
Well,
no.
what's so funny is, and I'll get into this story a little bit more, but the funny thing was, I did a cross country journey in October of 2019. I
Oh,
would not have
wow.
been able to do that if I had waited just a few more months.
Yeah, we were scheduled to go to Vegas and get married. We'd been
Oh,
together a
wow.
long, long time, but we were going to go
Yeah.
to Vegas and do the Vegas wedding thing. And a month after they shut, that was just like a month. Uh, so, Yeah. Well, we ended up improvising. It was fun.
Good, good.
We did a
Sometimes
thing.
that's even better.
Yeah, it ended up being better. It did. But doing this for you also, it seems like when I was reading your information, it was a big challenge for you. Like this is not something that
Yes.
comes easy. So,
Yeah. And I thought that it would be, right? I thought
mhm.
that, I do love hugs and I love people. And I didn't know that I was an introvert at the time. And so I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to have the best year. This is going to be what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Somehow, some way, this is going to be like the thing. And at the end of the year, I found myself on a lot of different interviews, a lot of radio interviews, a couple magazine interviews. And with each interview, I felt myself falling deeper and deeper into a depression and feeling the like a fraud. And after all those interviews kind of died off, I just really went into a really dark place. And it was surprising, and it took me about 8 years to get out of it, and try to figure out what exactly happened and how did everything go so wrong, on the heels of going out there and sharing love with so many people. And that's really what my book is about, because through the process of healing myself and discovering what exactly happened, I found myself in a place where I learned so much about me during those 8 years and finally recognized that what led me into the depression was that I was giving all of this love that I hadn't yet given to myself. So I was pouring out all of this love to other people that I hadn't yet learned how to give to myself. And so I completely depleted myself and had to learn what it was like to love myself.
Wow, that's
Mm.
really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a big one. That's
Yeah. It is
hard for us to do. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So were you writing books before that? Have you always been a writer, or was that new to you too?
I was a blogger, so I did a lot of
Oh,
blogging.
that's writing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, the book is going to be great because I've done all this blogging for all these
Hmm.
years. And then I started writing and I went, oh my God, a book is nothing like a blog, which should be so obvious. But I was like, wow, this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. So,
It's a bit more. Yeah.
yeah.
I've never been good at writing. Not really. I don't have the patience or something, and I just am now. I haven't really. I still don't blog much, but I realize now. Well, you can just talk into a mic and
Yeah.
let the word generator put it down, so you can write without actually sitting there at a typewriter.
It's true.
Oh,
I do
writing's hard
enjoy
work.
it though. It
Yeah,
is hard
yeah.
work. Yeah.
Do you have did you have a timeline to write, or did you just do it when you felt like it? I always ask this question of writers because some writers are very strict about it, and some, just do it as it comes.
It was I run most of my life based on what is welling up inside of me, right? So I kind of follow my own guidance. And and in each moment. And I knew that the book was inside of me from the time that I finished my year of hugs. I knew that there was a book that needed to be born out of that. But I still had 8 years of life that I had to live before the book was going to be ready. So during those 8 years, I kept returning to it and going, nope, now is not the time. Nope, now is not the time. And then once I started it, um, I still had a moment of, I don't know if it was just me procrastinating, like not wanting to write the book, or if it was
Mhm.
because I needed the cross country journey. But like as I started writing it, I'm like, I'm going to go on another adventure. So let me put the book on pause and go do that first.
Mhm.
And then when that was done, I knew that the book was ready. So it was inside of me. I knew it was ready. And I hired a book coach because I was like, I want to get this out. I want to get it out this year. I want to, like, you know,
Hmm.
I had all these aspirations. And 2 years in, I was like, okay, so it wasn't quite ready. So I had a timeline idea that I wanted, but of course, it had its own timeline agenda, which was really interesting. And I love to share this story to people that have challenges with writing because I went through so many iterations. I would write an iteration of the book and then scrap the whole thing and start over again. And I probably did that like 7 or 8 times, even with a book coach, because it was just something wasn't kind of coming together. And so at times I would write maybe 15 minutes a day and I would just set that just so I kept in the momentum of it. And that helped me out tremendously because I got to a point where I was almost making myself crazy because I was so determined to finish it. But it was bringing up so much more healing work that I needed to do as I was writing. Because it's like
Hmm.
basically, when you're writing a memoir, it's basically journaling your life, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so it's just kind of like bringing up all of this stuff. And so I'm having to work through all of these things that are coming up. And at one point, my book coach just looked at me and she was like, I'm going to call it for you. Like, you need to go take a pause. Go call your therapist. Like, let's go take care of your mental health. And then when you're ready, you can come back to it. She's like, I'll pause our contract. Don't worry about that. Like, you need to go take care of you. So I did that and I took care of my mental health. And 4 months later, I returned to the book and discovered that the thing that was missing was that I wasn't being true to my own authentic voice. As soon as I had healed that part of me, I started writing and I had the book written in a month.
Well, that's great.
So, like, you
That
just
is
don't
awesome.
know. You just don't know.
Well, I like that you gave yourself pause for 8 years. Like a lot of people would just push themselves forward and end up spinning their wheels for all that time. So it's
Yeah.
great that you didn't do that. And also the fact that you threw it away several times, that saves time over an editor doing that, like,
Yeah.
or
Right?
or a writing coach. You were
Yeah.
saving yourself, really saving yourself a lot of time and recognizing that. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That is
It was
awesome.
frustrating.
And
Don't get me wrong.
oh,
It
I'm
was frustrating,
sure.
but
I'm sure the whole process sounds very frustrating. Um, and especially the hugging part. It's like I think almost everyone loves hugs. Not everyone, but most people do. But I'm always very shy about it and rarely ask for hugs. Like usually it's someone else initiates, unless it's a family reunion, then everyone
yeah.
hugs everyone. But
Right.
yeah, but hugging strangers is definitely um, it's a hard thing. It's a difficult thing, but also you interjected in there that you were going to a therapist for this. So that, because I wondered that if you were getting help um, on your journey there. So,
Yeah, I've seen therapists. I have seen therapists most of my life on and off. It's just, I think, a really great, it's just like for me, same thing as going to the regular checkups with the physical doctor.
mhm.
It's just supportive to the mental health. Um, Therapists, and I do a lot of metaphysical type stuff. So I see a lot of energetic healers and I do a lot of work for my own sense of well being.
That's awesome. What
Yeah.
kind of metaphysical stuff? Like, do you like to meditate every morning? Do you, uh, what's, what kind of, or I have to ask because I like the metaphysical.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. So much. I actually use some energy healing techniques on myself. I also see other energy healers.
Hmm.
Um, but I learned techniques through healing touch for animals. I learned it
Oh, awesome.
so that I could take care of my chihuahua who was behind me, but I don't know where he is now.
Oh, that's
Um, yeah, he's cute. And so I started taking the techniques and I started applying them on myself. And so a lot of times now, every day, I'll just kind of go through a chakra clearing for myself based on the techniques that I've learned. And it kind of gives my energy a little cleanse, like brushing my teeth, but for my energy field.
hmm oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
I Do you work with all animals? Like, do you work with large animals also,
I
or
do.
you do?
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
what kind of animal? My wife's we love animals. My wife
Yeah.
and I both. So
I do too.
I'm always interested if you're working with animals. Like, you work with horses, you work with elephants,
I have worked
giraffes.
I have worked with horses. I have not been in the vicinity of elephants and giraffes. I could do that. I've worked
hmm
with spiders and
Spiders. Oh,
snakes
cool.
and lizards and um so I have done a lot of different work with lots of different animals, and through that process I discovered that I could communicate with them as well.
hmm
So, that's where I have worked with some really interesting animals. Like I've worked with whales before through the
Wow.
communication, and
Uh-huh.
um, that was probably the coolest one that I worked with.
I bet. I feel like any moment now we're going to be able to communicate with whales, um, for
Right?
a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was this when you were communicating with whales? Was this actually in the water, like with the whales, or were you
Nope.
just no? You just
Nope.
did
I
it
was working
through the
with
ether.
somebody.
Uh
Yep.
huh.
Through the ether.
hmm
I was working with somebody that had hired me to do some animal communication, and she had some struggles, and so I was kind of connecting with the animals that wanted to share some wisdom or share some insight, and the whale was one of them. So
Oh,
it was
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
And you said you worked with spiders. Do they have a complicated type of energy?
Nope. Nope, not at all. They were
Yeah.
yep. Go ahead.
Well, the way they build their webs so
So
nicely.
cool. Oh my
Yeah, so
god. It's
amazing.
amazing.
It's so amazing.
No, they were tarantulas. So it was
Mhm,
somebody who had a couple of tarantulas for pets. And for the most part, I have found that animals' energy is pretty clean because they can clean it themselves because they never learned how not to. Like, we know how to do it when we're born, but then we're living in a society that says that's weird and we can't do it. And so we believe that it's weird and we can't do it. So, but the animals don't have that. So they're able to clear themselves. So this one of the spiders was really clear. I didn't have to do anything. The other one had a little bit of disturbance in one of the legs. And so I was just helping to facilitate. All it really is just helping to facilitate homeostasis so that they could do their own healing work.
mhm.
And so as I was in the process of doing that, the really funny, amazing thing, and thank God I had a witness to this because I don't think anybody would have believed it. As I was doing the work, I'm outside. I was not holding the spider. He was in his container, and she had just fed him crickets. So the crickets were in the cage as well. And as I was like holding the energy, the crickets came from the far end of the container and started coming really slowly toward the spider and coming closer and closer and closer to the spider, and their antennas like went up and were like in the direction of the energy that I was flowing to the spider. And
Wow.
the spider's mom was right there, and she was I'm like, I looked at her, I was like, "Are you seeing that?" And she's like, "Oh my God."
That's
So
amazing.
it was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I had a tarantula in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and we had, a little earthquake, and the tarantula ended up on the ground. Now, it was amazing, a lot of things broke, but her cage didn't break, but it just freaked me out
Right.
realized I could have stepped on the tarantula.
Right.
So I ended up giving her away, but I
Oh,
was too nervous about having that. But it was easy. Well, it was easy to find somebody. Chilean rose, I believe, is what it was.
nice.
Yeah, beautiful little. They're everywhere in that part of the world. They sell them in
That's
pet
cool.
stores, but
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
That's
I
so
always thought it was
funny.
kind of funny that they sell them in pet stores. They pick them
Right.
up, like in Mexico, they just pick them up on the streets and then they
Right.
sell them to America.
That's so
These
funny.
are little pets. Aren't these cute? Yeah, it is. It really is. The way we look at nature it's just bizarre. Like,
It really is.
just
It really
wild.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, why aren't deer pets? What's the story? Yeah, kind of
Right?
crazy.
It
Yeah.
is. Like, where did we decide which ones should be and which ones shouldn't be? And yeah.
Lately, I've been seeing several different things about how cats and probably dogs both made that decision. There's evidence coming
Mm-hmm.
up with scientists
Believe
that
that.
we didn't decide that. It was the cats and dogs because they figured out we could be shelter and food. So
Yeah.
let's be nice to them. Let's not bite them.
Yep. That totally makes sense to me,
Yeah.
especially with the cats, because cats are so fascinating. I've done a lot of work energetically and communication with them, and they're in complete control. Like
Which it
we
always seems like.
yeah,
There's a
totally.
lot of comedians talk about that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's true. Like when
Yeah.
they decide that they're done with a family, they're done with a family and they're going to leave the family. And we think that we've lost them or that, something's happened to them. Nope. They just decided that they wanted a different family and they've
Well,
decided to move
that's
on.
wild. Right.
Yeah, it's so
Right.
funny.
Yeah, it seems to happen with male cats more, where they just leave. They just,
It's like, I'm
yeah,
done.
whatever. I'm done. Yeah.
Another family needs me, or I want to have an
Right.
experience with another family or whatever. Like, there's no loyalty the way that there is with the dogs, but that's a human concept anyway. So
Well, the loyalty thing,
the
yeah.
loyalty piece,
It
yeah.
it does seem like the dogs are the expression of unconditional
Hmm.
love, though.
Yeah.
They sure make it seem that way, which is amazing because they're come from predators, and I mean, they still are predators. So it's
Yeah.
kind of wild that they have that loyalty to another animal.
I think
That
it's really interesting too, because I actually consider cats to have greater unconditional love than the dogs, because dogs have a tendency to people please. Whereas the cats
right,
are like,
right.
I'm going to love you however you are. I ask that you do the same for me, and then we're cool.
Well, that's
That
interesting.
feels more unconditional to me.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely their attitude.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I love you, but you gotta love me whatever I'm doing.
Hmm. Yep.
Whatever I decide to do. Yeah.
Because I'm going to love you, whatever you
Uh,
decide to do. Yeah.
And I'm in charge.
Yes.
I'm the one in charge around here. Doesn't matter how many. We had 2 dogs and 4 cats when we moved to Oregon from California, and a rabbit, but the rabbit didn't care about anything. So the 4 cats were in one big. Actually, it was the rabbit cage. We put them all in the rabbit cage to move them in our
Yeah.
Corolla, and one cat just took over. And it wasn't a cat that was normally in charge of everyone, but he just
Yeah.
decided, okay, this is what we're doing. But I'm gonna make sure everyone's all right. It was wild. He just
Wow.
went, and he's like the, I don't know how you put it. I don't want to say dumb. He was
Simple.
he was the simplest one. He was the most easygoing of all the animals, and he just was like, "Don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to take care of everyone." It was wild.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really nice. Yeah. So, have you written books about that also?
I haven't. Um, I the memoir was really one book that I knew I needed to write. Whether I'm going to write another book or not, I'm not sure. I've actually done some interviews because I've been thinking about writing a book about divorced women and just
Hmm.
sharing their stories. So I've done some interviews there. I may write about that. But the animals, I don't know. I'm gonna see what kind of comes up. It's really interesting because I did a lot of the energy work for the animals and I was building a practice doing that. The animals, the I didn't feel called to continue the work with the animals, which is part of the reason why I haven't written a book about all of that. I feel compelled and called to work with humans,
Hmm.
specifically serving in a way that really uplifts humanity. And that just feels so important. And that is, as much as I love animals and I wish that I had a calling to work with the animals, because
Oh,
God, that would be
interesting.
great.
Yeah.
um, my calling is with humans.
Wow. That's wild.
It is wild. Surprising
And
to me.
that is pretty surprising. So
Mhm.
that was just an intuition you had? Or how did you come to that?
It really came from when I was doing the work and I was building my animal business, and I still do on the side some communication and some energy work. But as I was building that business, it just it felt flat. And so
Mhm.
I felt that intuition inside of me just saying like this this isn't it. And then I started writing my book and everything inside of me was like this is it. And so I've been kind of following that um following the breadcrumbs of that feeling of the this is it feeling. Like keep following these breadcrumbs. Not the flat breadcrumbs, but the excitement and the things that calls me forward. And getting to talk about hugs and getting to express my belief and my love of humanity feels honestly like um a very revolutionary act in this day and age
It
that where
is.
everybody
It
tries to
is.
divide. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I try very hard to love humanity, but I have difficulty with it. Sometimes I have to. I don't know where I heard this originally. Yeah, it was one of these. It was one of these tapes that I've heard that it might have been Deepak Chopra about how the idea is. I think it was Neil Donald Walsh. The idea is to love your neighbor. It doesn't mean you have to like them.
it's a good one.
I've always always kind of like, that's helpful. It's kinda, it's
Mhm.
helpful because
I mean,
yeah.
I read about that in the book where I come to discover that sometimes the best way that we can love someone unconditionally, because unconditional love is so hard. Even to love ourselves unconditionally. We're filled with judgment just because that's the way we're wired to keep ourselves safe. So we create stories around all of that, and to push through or to unpack all of those stories to discover that unconditional love is challenging. Um, and what I found was with ourselves, we can't do this, but with others, sometimes unconditional love looks like loving someone from a distance.
Oh,
So
right, right,
if, I have
right.
a family member or somebody that I can't be in the on the phone with them or connecting with them in a way that allows me to love them unconditionally, then I have a tendency to back off and to just work on loving them unconditionally from a distance and know that that's the place where I can love me and them unconditionally, which is a quote as well, but I can't remember her name. But
And I think that's a really helpful way to look at things.
Mhm.
I do, because also you don't wanna use all your energy, you know, trying to push something on other people or whatever, or push
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
interesting you said you touched on the subject of how we're wired that way. We're wired to be critical of ourselves. And I've been listening to someone a lot on YouTube. It's about chronic pain, but the idea is that we're a lot of stuff we have, especially chronic pain, is from this idea of danger. Your brain is always looking for danger.
Yeah.
So it produces pain thinking you're in danger when you're not necessarily. And that's true with just about everything. We are wired from a long, long time ago to look for danger. And, now we're being, what's the word? We're being presented with false dangers at
Yeah.
every turn, like
Yeah.
things, we respond to danger. So it's being pushed on us like in a big way, like there's danger here. It's, that's one way to look at it anyway. So it is a good idea to realize that that is just conditioning. Like you can get past that.
Yeah. There's I have the privilege of getting to work with people when they do their celebration of life for loved ones that have passed.
Mhm.
And I was listening to someone whose father had passed, and she was sharing during the celebration of life words of wisdom that he had for her. And one of the words of wisdom that he had for her was when they were on a raft and they were going through the rapids. And he said, okay, now that we're in the rapids, you need to face the danger. And he took that and used that metaphor for all other things in her life. So when she was struggling with stuff, he would say, where's the danger? Face the danger. And so that's become a practice that I've done for the past couple of weeks, because that was just a couple of weeks ago that I heard that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so everywhere that I begin to close my heart or feel like I'm being threatened, whether it's by my own thoughts or it's by somebody, around me, I think to myself, where am I feeling the danger? What is the danger? I'm going to face that danger. And it's
That's
just amazing.
I think is an amazing thing to think about. And many times we will find, well, there is no danger, right? Eh, Where's the danger? Well, there is no danger.
Or
Excuse
it's
me.
exciting, or it's exciting
Or it's,
rapids that we get to
well,
like
yeah.
ride, right?
And that's just fun. You get to ride an airplane. Well, there's no
Yeah.
danger there either. I'm sorry. But
Right, right.
one of my one of my favorite new walking meditations. I don't have no idea where I got this originally, but of course now I'm hearing it over and over, is as you're walking or sitting or whatever you're doing, you're thinking that I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do. And my favorite part, I have no one to be.
Mm,
And that really is helpful. It's like you can drop that if you want, but try it for 10 minutes, as you're walking or doing whatever. And it really is relaxing. And most of the
yeah,
time, it's true.
yeah.
In most circumstances, that's 100% real. Yeah, you know,
I love that. I have no one to be. I love that.
yeah. And I listen to Muji. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
kind of his thing too. He
Yeah.
in his meditations or just his talks, he's always doing that. Okay, drop who you are now. Drop all these labels and drop who
Yeah.
you are and what's left. Is there anything left? Keep looking. It's just the observer. And
Yeah.
it's really an amazing practice when
Absolutely.
you try and drop everything else and just see the observer. And if it would be really helpful if I could keep that when I go and look at social media or something,
Well, I had
just
to
observe.
get off social media because of it. I'm just
Yeah.
too sensitive of a person, and I had to come and recognize that. And I had just published my book. So the month before, I had published my book. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'm done with social media now.
Oh,
It was
that's
not an
really
easy thing to
interesting.
do.
I did a social media fast. I did a sugar fast,
How
and
was
then
that?
I did a water fast. No, oh, so it was really hard. It was
Yeah.
really, I mean, it was a phone fast actually. The phone fast turned into a social media fast because I realized, oh, well, that's what I'm doing on my phone, isn't it? That's what I'm doing here. And then I
Yeah.
would go on my computer and go, oh, I'll just go on Facebook here. And I'd think, no, why don't you? Maybe not. Why
Yeah.
don't you try not doing that? And I shouldn't have been shocked, but it was a bit shocking how difficult that was. It was like, and I'm someone who grew up without the phones, so
Yep.
I can't imagine if I grew up that way, how difficult it would be. It would just be like, wow. Because, yeah, I remember days when we didn't use the phone all day.
God, it was so great.
It was really something, right?
And it's
Yeah,
so amazing.
yeah.
I don't know if you had experienced this when you did the fast, but when I have done food fasts or when I've done something, an extreme change of diet, I will go through these detox symptoms, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes it will be flu-like if I do it too fast. I went through it. I went through a detox. Like
Yeah.
a physical detox. It was physical, it was emotional, and I was like, "Oh my god." Like, that is terrifying to me that I actually, like, detoxed when I left social media. That's scary.
It's pretty nuts because our mind
Mhm.
is what we work on, right?
Yeah.
And that's something you're pulling away from, and your mind freaks out.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
was actually kind of pissed when I did the sugar fast. I thought I would go through that, and I didn't.
Really?
I was like,
Interesting.
I guess I'm not eating that much sugar, but I
That's
was a
good.
little. It was good in a way, but I wanted more. It's like I thought I would
Right.
get more out of this. So,
This feels like nothing. Come
this
on.
feels like, yeah, except my mind, actually. My brain was
Right.
freaking out. It was like, what are you talking about? You're not going to have a cookie today?
Right.
But yeah, but my body did not go into withdrawals. When I don't drink coffee, that's a different story than it.
Yeah.
Then I get the
Feel
headaches
it.
and the no
Right.
energy. But that's supposed to be good for you now, drinking the coffee.
That's what they say. I don't know. I gave up coffee quite a few years ago, so I'm okay with that.
I will not defend that it's really healthy at all. It's just every now and again, every few years, my wife comes up with a new article about, look, they found more health benefits of
Right.
coffee. Like, of course they
I keep
did.
looking
Of
for those articles around red wine. So, like, I'm always looking for the reasons why I need to keep drinking red wine. So,
yeah, they have finally come out. I quit drinking alcohol just from habit. I just really didn't
mhm.
drink much, and so I barely drink alcohol anymore. And
Yeah.
they now are finally going, yeah, any amount of alcohol is really not good as far as
No,
long term
red wine
effects.
is still okay.
Really, it's fine. It's fine as
All
long as,
of it
yeah,
is fine in moderation
in moderation. Yeah, and yeah, everyone's
and
gonna die someday.
exactly. Exactly.
We're here for the adventure, so,
That's
however
right.
you wanna live it, right? It's up
Yep.
to you. Which
Totally.
yeah. It's interesting, you were talking about being part being part of life celebrations, and it's always interesting to me because I don't believe in death as a final thing, but it's still really hard when and I have a big family, so I go to a lot of these, and it's difficult. It's always
Yeah.
really difficult when we're missing a loved one,
Yeah.
when they go away. It's always like seems, I don't know, unfair. And I realize it's all about us, not them. Like
Yeah.
we're really grieving for ourselves, right? It's
Totally.
yeah. Grief is not about the other person.
No, it's definitely about us. And I think one of the gifts of grief is the amount of love, the depth of love that you access when you experience grief that's so profound. Um, I think that that's one of the blessings, but that being said, there's no getting around how much it hurts.
Right. Right. It's interesting because I often, not really out loud, just to my wife, I often am sort of criticizing people for being so grief stricken about celebrities who pass away,
Mm.
people they've
Mhm.
never known, or maybe they met him once. But it is the same idea. It's the same thing. You're gonna miss the person, even just their presence, I guess. So,
And I mean, I can say that there was somebody recently that I was really grieving, and I don't remember who it was. Um, but it was somebody that I had been looking up to, that I was filled anytime I listened to their wisdom.
mhm,
Oh, it was Andrea, the poet. And of course, I can't think of their last name right now, but they were a poet. They just recently passed due to cancer, and they weren't somebody that I knew in this life. I feel like I know them more now that they've passed, but the grief of knowing that there's no new poems to be received from them, no new poems that I can purchase a book or read through their emails, and that was it. Yeah, there's a loss that I
right,
felt.
right.
So, yeah. And it's ours. It's totally mine. It has nothing to do with having known them or even been in their presence ever,
Mhm.
but
It's just our
they
thing.
gave something to my life that now there is a loss of.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good way of putting it, I guess. Yeah, you're losing that part that's gonna be on the earth. One advantage to losing celebrities, this is kind of a strange twist, but
Uh-huh.
I just watched the, John Candy documentary. Now, he passed away
Mhm.
in '94, which
Yep.
I was like, "What? Really?
Yeah.
It was that long ago?"
It was
But
that long ago.
the documentary was really eye-opening. It was really
Was
amazing.
it?
I had no idea. He just for one, he made more movies because he made a lot of, movies that no one saw, so he made a lot more stuff, but you just find out a lot about people. It's interesting and, you know, different things about him and how shy he was and stuff, which is, I guess, typical of
Yep.
a lot of celebrities. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting.
It is. It is very interesting. Well, let me, before we go here, one moment. Let me grab my little sheet of questions. I have
Okay.
an any guest questionnaire, and because everyone has such different answers, so
Right. Right.
these are pretty random. These are pretty
This is
random
why I love
questions.
humanity, because you
Yeah,
never know what you're gonna get.
exactly. You never know, and it was kind of like you probably experienced this when you were hugging people for a year. You don't know by how someone looks, like how
Definitely
they're going
not.
to be, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
you never know.
You
'Cause
never know.
I have lots of not lots, I have a few family members that maybe, the person on the street wouldn't want to approach, but they're awesome people.
And vice
They're just
versa.
yeah. Well, that's true too. Yeah,
Huh.
that's true
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So, number 1 question, do you like turtles now?
I
I
do.
would
I love all
expect you do.
animals.
Okay.
I
That
did
was
work
an
on
easy one.
turtles, yes.
Uh-huh. Did you do work on sea turtles at all?
Have not done work on sea turtles.
Because that's why I put the question in. I go snorkeling every year, and I love sea turtles. They're
Yeah,
amazing.
they're made.
They're
They
just so
are.
peaceful. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're incredible. And you're not. I go to Hawaii, and you're not supposed to get within 20 feet of a sea turtle.
Yeah.
That's impossible. They
I
swim
feel
right
that.
up to you. They don't. You turn around and whoa.
Well, I think that's like the manatees. You're not supposed to go up to the manatees in Florida, but if they come up to you, I mean,
Right. What are you gonna do?
right.
That's another one I've always wanted to see, a manatee. That's a big animal, right?
It is a big animal.
That's a big animal. And I still want to swim with whales.
Me too.
One year when I went, we usually go in the summer because it's just less crowded, but we did go one winter. That's when the whales are out there. And people were jumping in their kayaks and their canoes and going out to swim,
That's
to just
cool.
be right by the whales. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And we could
Yeah.
see them pretty good from the shore. So that would be
Amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing your own podcast, or do you
I
have your own?
have.
Have you?
I've thought about doing them. I have not taken the plunge, but I have definitely thought
Mhm.
about it.
I don't want to discourage you or anyone else, but it is easier to be on one than to,
I
than to
figure.
do them.
That's why I'm
It's,
doing that right now.
it's a little bit easier. Do you believe in luck?
I believe in magic.
There you go. That's kind of
So
similar.
whether it's
Yeah.
kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And is your dog there yet? Because my wife's really going to wonder what the dog looks like.
Oh, yes. He's just under the blanket, as I should have known. Tater Tot.
Tater
Yeah.
Tot. Oh, that's
This is
funny.
Tater
Oh,
Tot.
look at that. What kind of dog is it?
He's
Look.
a Chihuahua, but I'm pretty sure he's a Chihuahua Doberman Dachshund mix.
Okay. We talked about social media already, so I'm going to skip that one. Oh, do you have a favorite podcast, either that you've been on or that you listen to at all?
Yes. We Can Do Hard Things. I would love to be on it.
Mhm.
It's Glennon Doyle, and my tattoo that I have is from one of her books. And she just
Cool.
inspires me to be the most authentic me I can be. So I love that podcast. I feel like that's such a love humanity podcast.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Those are good.
Yeah.
Did you get any new furniture lately? I told you these are random.
I have not gotten any new furniture lately. Now that makes me want to go out and buy some new
Oops.
furniture.
That's no good.
No, that's great.
What was the last thing you bought on the internet?
The last thing
Actually,
I bought on the internet was probably supplements, because I'm always buying supplements on Amazon. Nothing exciting.
Good. Have you broken any laws lately?
Not. Oh, well,
Just
speeding.
think about. Yeah, most of
No,
us,
I'm trying
if you
to
drive a car, usually
Right.
you've broken some law. Because 20 miles an hour, come on.
And I know that I ran a red light recently because my
Oops.
son called me out on it. So, yes.
Oh, they have cameras here now. I got to be really careful.
Here too, I know.
They don't tell you.
I know.
They're hard to spot sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
dang. Do you believe in talent?
I believe in. Do I believe in talent? Like raw talent?
Just
Like,
it could be like some people don't believe in talent at all. I don't know what, and some people
don't-
do, and some people think, yeah. I
I
guess raw
can't-
talent, sure.
I can't imagine not believing in talent because people are talented. So I don't
It would seem that way. Yeah.
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 I do believe in raw talent, that some people are just born with gifts. I think that we're all born with gifts. It's just whether or not we access it and how it's interpreted in our society as a gift or not.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, because I think we're all born with gifts also. We just forget.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes the gift is just to be able to get up and face the day. Sometimes
Seriously.
that can take something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think there's something after this?
I'm assuming you're talking about afterlife.
I am talking about afterlife and
or after this podcast.
Well, there's nothing after the podcast. Come on. That should be obvious.
I actually got to experience the death process through a cat's energy, because I was helping to support the euthanasia process for the people, and the cat was gracious enough and kind enough to show me and allow me to experience what they were experiencing. And so from that perspective, I can say it's less about there being something after as much as just a continuation in a different form
Yeah, I've
is
heard it.
what I experienced.
I've studied a lot of NDEs. I've listened to a lot of people who've had
Hmm.
NDEs. That is actually an NDE. It's what they call a near
Yeah,
NDE.
the near.
Yeah, the near
Yeah.
NDE. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
another thing I have because I definitely believe in a continuation. But then when I'm faced with death, it's so hard.
So hard.
It's so hard. Yeah, it is a hard thing to be faced with. That is the end of my questions. Well, listen,
Great
this has been
questions.
great. Thank you.
So
They're
fun.
fun. That
Yeah.
went really fast. We've only been talking for an hour, but I don't
Yeah.
want to hold you up much longer. You are have been a great podcast guest. So let me just say, this is my outro now. You've been listening to Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht, and on the, what is this? This isn't even the Zoom today. In the studio today, I had Melinda Lee, who's been a fantastic guest, and we were talking a little bit about her book, of Hugging the World, and a lot about all kinds of other things. And really appreciate you having you on the. I guess it's time to quit because I can't speak all the time. Really great to have you on the podcast. Yeah. And there will be a contact for her and all that she does right in the show notes. So check that for sure. And we will see you next time. I almost forgot. So often I forget this. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other.
Great conversation, Joel. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will hit end recording. We'll see how
And
this
then I'll
works.